Are we on video, by the way, for this?
Yeah, we're on video right now. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to Leisure Hour Radio, everyone. As always, I'm your host, Michael Linehan. Today, we have a very interesting guest, probably the most interesting guest we've had since Mir Fontaine came on. Another great artist. This dude, he's done just by me finding you, discovering him, and looking you up. Your story is very interesting. You've done a lot of different things, and I'd love to talk about it. We have Johan Lenox on the show today. I wish I had a
Oh, yeah.
producer
Thank
here
you.
still. I would add in a bunch of clapping noise and other stuff, but I had
All
to
good.
cut my budget. So we'll start there. You started off as a classical producer.
Yeah, I started as a doing like fully just writing like classical music actually for just like orchestras. I mean, I guess I didn't start with orchestras, but I started with just like taught myself piano and then got more interested in writing music for other like musicians and for like my school orchestra and like
Where'd you go? Did you go to Berkeley?
I never went to Berkeley. I was like doing classical music lessons at New England Conservatory, which is like a block away from Berkeley. It's on Huntington,
Yeah, I went to
and
Wentworth.
oh yeah, so I would go in on weekends and do lessons there, and then I was just in like public high school in Winchester, and yeah, I really wanted to be like John Williams, who was like writing film scores and conducting the Boston Symphony Orchestra or Pops or whatever. So I would go see him in concert, and I was just like, that was kind of my
But
that was the,
but you were tripping out on fucking acid one night. And what was it? My Beautiful Twisted Nightmare. Is that what Kanye's album
Yeah,
is?
my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great album. Strongly recommend. And yeah, coming from classical music, that album is just really just like crammed with like live strings and all that type of thing. And so I was just like immediately drawn to it.
But do you mind talking about that on the show? Because I read an
Sure.
article. I don't know if this is completely true. Because you know all like these when you rap, when you write about like an artist or a rapper, like I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of lies in that world, especially with like the writing going on. Because everyone that's a part of like magazines and stuff, like you just want to have like an interesting article. So, but I read a Genius article that said you were tripping out on acid in like someone's basement back home, like
Yeah.
typical like New England shit. And you heard a song come on and it like influenced you to make like your because you where did you do your show? It was a live, like what was it, like 100-piece band or I
You
don't
talking
know
about the
much about.
classical stuff? Or are you talking about
Yeah,
The Beethoven one? I
yeah, the
did
Beethoven shit.
yeah. There's actually like a few years in between those two things happening, but yeah, it makes sense as just like a straight line that I went from hearing the Kanye stuff and coming from classical to wanting to do this concert. But
I
yeah, it was
knew
like
it was some
probably
online bullshit. I knew it.
yeah, it's probably like 3 or 4 years after that. Well, no, I mean I was tripping on acid when I heard that album, and but the concert Beethoven, which was like a live orchestra playing Kanye and Beethoven, that was a few years later, and that came about because I mean I had become really into Kanye's music. I started working in the world of hip hop, and I was still had this classical background. So one of my friends who's from the town over, Lexington, and who I also did stuff in Boston with, Yuga Kohler is now like a full-time classical orchestra conductor, and he was just like,
Wow.
we should do a concert of something with Kanye, maybe I don't know Kanye music, and so I kind of came up with this idea with him and just helped figure out how to. I wrote all the music, and he conducted the orchestra, and we like, yeah, it was like this big viral thing. It was like probably 70-piece orchestra, but yeah, it was like big orchestra.
Yeah, that's insane. Because didn't that lead to you actually like contributing to a song with him?
Yeah, that's so that concert happened, and then we did a couple of them. We did two in LA and one in New York,
Mhm.
and
You
then
didn't do one in Boston?
nah, I mean neither of us were like at that point. He was living in New York and I was living
Yeah.
in LA, but yeah, I mean we wanted to actually. I sent it over to the guy who does the Boston Pops, and I was just like, we should do this, and he was like, yeah, we've done a lot of these recently. Like let's just
Uh,
pop music, whatever. Maybe something like this in the future, but yeah, that one never happened. But I think it still could. I mean, it's definitely easy to fill the seats for something like that. So
we'll talk about that. But now that I'm thinking about, have like, where's your favorite place to perform in Boston? Have you done concerts there? Like, have you
I'm
done House of
excited
Blues?
to. Yeah, I mean, not yet. I mean, I'm really like I'm kind of new as an artist. Like I've been producing for these bigger artists, and then I've been putting out my own music, but I really haven't like
Mhm.
been able to go on tour yet and do shows. But like, yeah, I mean, I can't wait. House of Blues, all that shit. I mean, um, I yeah, like when I was a kid, I was just going to these classical concerts, stuff like that. But now,
That's
Like I had my
trippy
stuff
as
played on
fuck.
like the Hatch shell. Like I had like an orchestra play my shit there. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I got my agent to like booking agent and stuff like at the beginning of last year, but then COVID. So
That fucking sucks.
hopefully, yeah. I mean, I'm still working and I'm still putting music out, but I have an album coming this summer, and hopefully, like by the end of the, like by fall
What's
or
the
something, I
album
can come out
called?
and do some shows. It's called "What Do You Want to Be When You Grow Up?"
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Because it's like nobody
No, what
fucking
do you
knows.
want to be when you grow up?
I guess what I'm doing, but I think the joke for me was that like, or the reason I came up with that name was like, it's like, well, I kind of am growing. I mean, I'm an adult. I pay rent. It's
Yeah.
like, is this? But it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't. I don't have like a house with like a picket fence and a wife and a kid and a dog and shit.
Well,
So it's
you're
kind of like,
also in LA. It's very expensive out there.
yeah, I probably could if I was in Boston, but I feel like I know a lot of people that like well into their 20s, even 30s. Some people that like just haven't. It's like it's like you're living your life, but it doesn't really feel like you've reached what adulthood looked like in our minds. So that's why it's kind of like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, well, I don't know. I guess
I
are we
still don't
ever
know.
gonna
I'm
grow up
only
type of shit?
22 and I'm a stand-up comedian. And every night it's just another freaking same thing, different night, same jokes. And like right
Yeah,
now, I'm like at like a point, like obviously you don't know who I am. It's not like I'm like Bill Burr. Like you're
yeah. I
like,
was
you
gonna
know what I
ask
mean?
about Bill Burr.
But when you're a low-level comic, like a young guy coming up, it's just like it's either you gotta make it break and something has to happen, or you gotta give it up. You know what I mean? It's a tough grind. It's a
I
very
think
tough.
that's probably actually harder than music. I think it's like the hardest one, and
It's because
I've looked at it before and been like, that could be fun, but I'm like, it
it's
sucks
not
though.
fun when you suck though. If you do bad, you instantly just want to quit immediately. It's the toughest thing any like it's probably the hardest type of any performance. Because
I think that's
acting,
why a lot of the big comedians that really break, like Bill Burr's got to be like 50 at this point or 45 or something.
yeah, he is.
It's like only now. I mean, he's really the biggest he's ever been, and that's only in the past 5 or 10 years. So it's like it's just all those years of grinding, and then like in music, everybody that blows up is like 20, but
Yeah,
in
or
comedy they're like
nowadays they're
45.
like 14, dude. What's
Yeah,
up? Do you know who the famous twins are?
I don't know, maybe.
They're like there's like these group of chicks. There might be six of them, and there might be only two of them. I can't tell. They might be 45 years old, or they might be 13. I still can't tell, but they're like famous on TikTok. And there's like so many like famous like people that like I have no clue what's going on anymore. And like there's this, it's a different game in the rap
I'm gonna
world. Like
look
when
this
I like
up.
was a kid, me and my buddies, we would meet up every morning. You know what Spinrilla was?
Yeah,
Did you ever use Spinrilla?
not really, but I mean, yeah,
It was like some ghetto shit back in the day, but we would
I
all
had
just like
friends that did. Yeah,
yeah, it was just like where you'd find all new music. But nowadays, I have no clue where you would even find new stuff. Like I was introduced by you just by following like people from Boston and looking up like local like big people that came out of Boston for my podcast, and I've been listening to you ever since, dude. It's
dude,
tough, like
thank you. I've
it's
been running mad ads there. You probably see them too, where I'm just like, I'm from Boston. Follow me,
yeah,
motherfuckers.
it works though. It
I know.
definitely
I like
works.
it's fun because I'm more excited about that. Like I obviously spend most of my time in LA right now, but I go back a lot and like I don't really give a shit about LA. I give a shit about New England because that's where I'm from and that's what I'm
Yeah,
singing about. So and that's like, I work with Stiz and all these artists from there. So it's like
I was gonna
I
say,
want to do a big hometown show. That's like much more exciting to me.
look at your guy's stats. He is a king in these streets, man.
I know. I
Like
know. That's my guy.
he is like I just like the way he raps because I was at a concert one time. I saw him like in other states. Like I'd go to like music festivals when I was like younger. Like I'm not
Yeah.
really into that anymore because like I'm over like being in crowds, especially because there's shootings. But that's not even funny. That's not a joke. It
Yeah.
makes me nervous. But uh, what was it? So I've seen him in other states, like when I was younger, and like his earlier music. Like remember his like first like Manda. I
Yeah.
think like when that first came out, I saw him performing in front of like big crowds in other states like and then it hit me. I was like, oh, this guy is he he's like not just big in Boston though, he's big like pretty much like almost in all these pockets around the country,
Yeah. Yeah.
a
No,
bunch of
he's a
spots.
major artist.
I know,
I've been
yeah,
a lot. It's been
exactly.
cool. I actually kind of like saw that whole thing happen because I've been friendly with him and the people around him since
Yeah, for a
before
while.
that came out. So like I wasn't really working on any of that shit, but I used to work with Michael Christmas, who is also same management. And
Yeah.
So I met them all through that, and like they were like, "Yes, dude, man, it's gonna be big." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Like,
Yeah, and then it
I don't
happened.
know, I
He's
believe you, but yeah,
fucking massive.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
He
happened. Yeah,
has new music coming out. But so yeah,
yep,
you have that song. That song is fucking great. I love the music video for it because I like learned when I was watching your music videos. Like, do you direct them all yourself? Like it's all your vision?
yeah. Generally, I usually collaborate. I mean, that one I do with my girlfriend actually, but yeah, yeah,
Because you have a pretty cool vision, like just for like making like chill videos, like not like trying to go over the top, but just making it like just
right.
visually like really appealing, even though it's like might not be like a major production. And like that's like cool. Like even like your some of your older songs, like what's up with you and Plastic Cups?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's just like the house party. Like that's the fucking international, well, national anyway, symbol of like drinking shitty beer from a keg when you're like, you know, 18 and like,
Yeah, you were plastic out in that. You had so many cups. And then you the one with what's the song? The one where you're in a casket?
yeah,
With the
yeah. Oh man, yeah. Throwback Thursday. You were watching. Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was just like trying to. I think all three of the videos use the cups in a different way, and we just tried to have that be like a symbol. I did those with this guy named Zach Bell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking like kind of abstract for those three, like just
Hmm.
something that would be like kind of like artistic and weird that would fit with like the orchestral instruments that I'm using, but also kind of like with
Hmm.
the songs, hopefully. But yeah, I think for the next ones I'm gonna do, I don't know yet. I want to find a way to combine like because those videos have the clips of me on the red line at the end, but I feel like
Yeah.
uh
I saw that.
finding a way to
I'm an orange line guy.
nice. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was the closest thing I was to is like the what's it called? It was
Commuter rail.
Nashma, Braintree, and what's the Alewife was the closest
Oh
after.
yeah,
But I couldn't walk to Alewife. Like I had to drive there, so it was almost not even useful.
yeah. I got to take a bus to get to the fucking Forest Hills from my place.
Yeah,
If I'm gonna
yeah,
go into Boston, yeah, 'cause that's
yeah.
why like you gotta just have Boston's an easy city to have a license, and you don't have to be taking the T around here.
The commuter rail actually went like 3 minutes from my house though, and I'm actually 3 minutes away from two stops, which I'm told are the two closest train stops to each other in the country.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
like literally, it's just like the train goes to one, and then it just goes another like 1,000 feet, and then stops again. And my house is exactly between these two stops
You,
in whichever
you know what
direction.
that reminds me of actually? That's actually very interesting. I live on an island. I live on like a landlocked island, man-made island in like Massachusetts, Dedham, Mass. You can look it up,
I
and
didn't even know that.
it's called Dedham. Why, are you an island enthusiast, or just like
No, I just never. I mean, I know where Dedham is, obviously, but I never knew that there was an.
and it's like historical. There's nobles in Greeno. It's right across the street from my. Actually, I shouldn't be saying that. People, I don't get my address. Don't get anything. Don't look up where I live. But
You
yeah,
live
it's
in the middle of this fucking lake, Mount Motley Pond.
no. Look up Dedham Island, Dedham, Mass Island, and it'll come right up. But that reminded me, like you're talking about trains. Don't aren't you a big roller coaster guy?
Yeah, and I'm like, I have like like an encyclopedic knowledge of that shit.
Yeah, I fuck with roller coasters too, bro.
That's what's
But
up.
I actually know a kid from my town. When he gets on roller coasters, he passes out, and he like won't admit to it because he like wants to be like a guy that rides roller coasters.
It's
And
kind of funny how that happens. Yeah, some of them will really. I'm looking at this now. I guess I never realized. Yeah, so you just like the Charles River basically just runs all the way around it, kind of.
yeah, it's not like a cool island. It's not like I live like on Nantucket, Martha's
But
Vineyard, but
technically, it's an island, though. I never knew that. Look at
yeah, pretty
that.
cool, huh?
You have to leave the island if you want to go to the Home Depot.
It's a three bridge town, yeah.
That is fucking crazy. I never knew that. You just go to like Canopy Lake Park and shit growing up.
Yeah, I did. I used to go to what's it called? Watertown in is that fuck. There's one in Maine that I used to go to a lot with my
Oh, a theme
family.
park in Maine. Yeah, probably. I feel like it wouldn't have very, very big like roller coasters, probably, but I
Yeah,
forget
the
what it's
best
called.
obviously Six Flags is the best.
Six
Have-
Flags great.
Yeah, but when you start fucking touring, you're gonna be able to go to some wild roller coasters.
I know. I kind of want to like plan my whole tour around that shit. Like, I feel like
Just well,
yeah.
and just like attractions, like that's what I can't wait about. I'm not gonna be fucking touring for at least like 7 years unless like my podcast steps up the numbers. So I gotta get bigger fucking guests. But
You
it's
could
besides that.
probably do. I mean, yeah, if you're willing to just drive yourself around and like
That's the thing, dude.
kind of do it whenever you want, I guess. But yeah,
that's the thing. You can perform anywhere, but you'd rather like
yeah,
so
have people coming
most
to see you.
when you're a comedian or even like music, like any type of artist, like usually goes by like hopefully a door deal. Like if you're gonna make money, that's how you'd want to do it, or you just
Yeah.
get like fucked over. Like I don't want to talk about this. Is an
Do you fuck with TikTok at all? I know this is like
I'm
everybody probably asks you
trying.
that, but
I'm trying to become a fucking TikToker, but I don't have it in my heart to give up
it's
on.
kind of fun. Like, no, but I mean, like, I feel like I thought it was really dumb, and then I started doing these videos on there where I just talk about like the songs I worked on and what I did on them and shit.
Yeah,
And
and have they
like,
been doing well?
yeah, like the first few, it took a while, but like then like I had one go kind of viral, and like it's
What's your
pretty easy
TikTok?
to.
I'll follow you.
It's just at Johan Lenox, but I think it's pretty easy to go viral on there because like the whole app is designed to go viral. Like it's like not that big a deal for a video to
I
just
know
get seen
that's
100,000 times because people scroll so much that it's like, and
well,
then you can
and
get off followers.
people on that app get mad if you like try to make like a highly produced like video on there. Like
Yeah, yeah. It's
they
like I don't
want
spend
to
time on
just
it.
they want to just like they want you to make a video that you just like made like that and put it up. That's
Yeah, I
what
think
like
the
people.
next time you just have like a funny thought about something and you want to rant about it, just turn your camera on and just do it and post it and just
Oh
like
yeah,
just do
your
like 100 of
TikTok's
those.
doing
And
pretty well, bro.
yeah, this is all I've only like gotten it since December, and I like most of that growth happened in the first like 3 months, and then I kind of like
I
like
mostly just
I was in like Waltham, Mass at an Airbnb actually when I was doing these initially, and then
really, yeah, I'm in
yeah,
Waltham a lot in that area. That's a good
that's where
area.
the phase of the video, almost all that stuff was in
Oh
Waltham.
shit, really?
Yeah,
So like, how did that work out? Does Stiz just only come back to Boston to make his music videos?
he's back in Boston, I think, quite a bit, and so am I. But I mean, it's just the reality is like the fucking music industry is in LA, and
It's
like
everything's in LA.
if
Yeah,
you
every.
want to work with these other big artists, like you can't really do it from Boston. So I go back whenever I can. My girlfriend's from Boston. She works at New Balance in Lawrence. She
Oh,
lives in
really?
Winchester still.
At the main place?
She works at the yeah, and the one, and then she goes into Brighton sometimes, which is the other office they have. But
Is
usually
Brighton the
she's in
one with
Lawrence.
the shoe? Which one has the
Yeah,
shoe? Oh,
yeah,
Brighton.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
one's.
Lawrence is more like a big old like brick factory. And actually, a couple of the shots, like where I had the Dunkin' Donuts bag in that video,
Yeah, the Munchkins.
I'm on top of the parking lot at the New Balance place in Lawrence. So we were just like driving around. Uh, I will let you on a little secret, which is that I actually shot that the Stiz part I shot in LA, but I just edited it together so you guys know.
That's what I was thinking. I wouldn't have been surprised because I saw the buildings. It didn't look like. I actually
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that, but that's
But
not a
nobody
big.
seems to really mind, and like he's from Boston. It's just like the timing of it. I just wanted to get it done, and I had like a week before I went.
Nobody gives
Yeah,
a fuck about anything now. That's like another
yeah,
thing going back to TikTok. It's not even about like it doesn't have to be real. Nothing's real
yeah,
anymore online. If it looks cool, it just looks cool, and that's what people like nowadays.
yeah, totally.
There's a lot less like haters. I mean, there's gonna be haters for everything. I have haters. I used to get death threats. I used to this like used to be like a live stream, and I'd take in callers, and then like people just like took it way too far, and like they
Jesus.
they'd call in, and yeah, that's why I don't do it live anymore. And my fans are retarded. They're all like Boston drunks. Like anyone that comes out to see me do it like a show, they're always just complete messes, and then they try to fight me after. So I hated my fans, but
That's
keep
great.
listening.
I mean, you're like well on track to being Bill Burr then when you're older. I mean, I feel like that's like his entire fan base is like,
Not really. No, Bill Burr. Bill
well,
Burr has.
now everybody fucks with him, but I feel like he came up on that shit a little bit, and
Well,
that's his
that's
type of
why
humor.
people get out of Boston. I want to get the fuck out of Boston. I was thinking
Yeah,
about going to Austin, but that's kind of like a in our like community, like the comedy world, going there. It's kind of like you're a punk if you're like you're not gonna like if you're not bigger, like you're just gonna like if you're still like a low level guy, like not like going there to like be booked every night you're there.
yeah,
It's just like a stupid move. Like
yeah,
that's why you'd go to like a place like New York. That's where you grind when you're a young comedian.
yeah. I think New York and LA. I think that's probably it. I mean, you should do it. I mean, just give either take a trip for a couple months or something and stay on somebody's couch, or like
Yeah.
or just move for a year and just see what happens, maybe. Because like it is like at first it's just like holy shit, there's so many people here that are trying to do the same thing as me. But I feel like that challenge makes you better, and like it's like a little bit scary, but it's like worth it to dive into the deep end because you just get better so much faster.
Exactly. That's like what I was saying. Cause I've talked about this before on my podcast. I did a show in Connecticut like 2 months ago. I got booked on it. It was like in comedy, there's like, I don't know if you noticed, but there's like white crowds and there's black crowds. Like different like clubs have different like people that
Sure,
just
yeah.
come and see them. And I
So
got
yeah,
booked on it and they booked me and this other kid, like relatively the same age as me from New York. and like they booked us just because like to be like the white guys that come out and like either we're funny or they make fun of us. Like that's how it works at those type of
Yeah,
shows.
yeah, yeah.
And he went up there and just fucking murdered. And this was after like no one could do comedy for like a year, like right when the shutdown like got back
Yeah.
out. And he like that's what made me like think like I gotta elevate myself. I gotta fucking do something like different with my time. And that's what I've done. I did 9 shows last week from Monday through Friday.
That's the fucking, yeah. I mean, I when people hit me about making beats and shit, I'm just like, yeah, just make, write a song a day for the next 3 years, and
Exactly.
yeah.
I don't know. I gotta question you more because I can't talk about my life because
Do
this
you
is all
have
you.
like a tight? Yeah, sorry. Do you have like a 5 minutes, or how do you do it? You just kind of
I have a
name a show every
tight
time.
10 right now. I have 10,
Nice.
but I usually just do 5. It's like all I can get.
I'm gonna watch it. Is it on YouTube?
I can send it to you.
Send me that
I'll
shit.
send it to you
I like
I'll send you
comedies.
after
Yeah, I'll
or
watch it.
after I think I can put it on the screen when we stop recording, but I can't put my jokes out of my podcast right now. I used to do that. I used to always like write a new joke, do it one time like the night before, and then like come on here and say it. But that's how you get your joke stolen. And like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's not like music. Like music, that's the thing I appreciate about you. Actually, this is completely off topic. This is a good question. So stealing jokes, that's one thing, but in music, you can take people's like beats and use it as a sample, and that's like a well-respected thing if you can make it into something like better. Can you
Yeah.
explain that?
Well, I mean, the reason it's okay is because there's like contracts that like give them a piece of the thing.
Oh,
So it's like,
really?
yeah. So if I use a sample, then that's why a lot of times if you see a hip hop song that has like 12 songwriters credited to it, it might be because like 5 of them were in a band that got sampled, and like,
uh,
and then like another 4 were in another band, and then 3 of them are like the rapper and the 2
mhm.
producers. You know what I mean? So it's like that. Yeah. So like the percentage that you're making off of a song that has a big sample that's hard to clear is usually a lot less because they're making the money. In
Yeah.
some cases, they're actually like insane examples. Like, the song "Bittersweet Symphony"? It's like this '90s rock song. It's like a pretty big song. So you probably heard it. Whatever.
Yeah, I probably have. I'm just I'm mostly in I'll be honest with you, Johan. I said your name wrong at the beginning of this and you didn't
That's no
correct me.
problem.
And no, I respect that. But I've listened to a lot of like emo, like sad shit, like not like Juice WRLD, like Lil Peep, like X,
Yeah.
like those were all like the guys I like listen to. I listen to
No,
like
I
a
love
lot.
that shit.
Really?
But yeah, yeah, no, those are like some of my favorite artists. But yeah, so this is like, yeah, this is like this huge song in the '90s called "Bittersweet." I mean, you definitely recognize it. It's called
Yeah.
"Bittersweet Symphony." It's just like an old song, and the song samples the Rolling Stones, and the Rolling Stones, but they didn't ask permission for it, so it came out and blew up. And then the Rolling Stones were like, "Hey, we own this shit, and we can force you to take it down. So we're gonna take 100% of the profits of the song." And so it's a massive song, but for 20 years, only the Rolling Stones made money off of it, even though it's not their song because it has the
Oh,
sample of them. And then finally, like a few years ago, apparently they just like were like, all right, fine, you can have like half of it. And like,
that's like a weird thing. Like, do
so
you
that's the
own like
difference.
your masters to your songs? Like, do you own like the rights to your songs? Or like, you're signed to a label, right? Actually,
Yeah, I've been on a major for 2 years under Universal, so they own those masters, but they don't own. I'm leaving, and I think I'm probably gonna sign somewhere else. But for now, I have the upcoming debut album I own, but like I don't really care that much about that shit. Like I'm happy to sell it to a label and like have them pay for shit. It's,
you never know
shitty.
though. One day, what if it gets fucking it
Well, you
blows
still
up?
make money off of it. I mean, like you still get royalties off of
But
that.
it's a major cut, right? Like I don't understand. Like
Yeah.
every documentary I've watched about music, it's always like the kid, like the musician getting fucked over somewhere. You know what I mean?
No, it's definitely true. I mean, you got to watch out and like, have good lawyers and make sure the contracts are good. I mean, most of the money I make right now is from producing songs for other people
Oh,
anyway. So it's
really?
like that. Then the label wouldn't take any of that because it's not
That's like
their
your
album
own,
that I'm
like
putting out with them.
that's your own
That's my
thing.
own
Like you
business. It's like
control
separate.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Who have you made any have you collaborated with anyone good recently that's gonna come out that you
Yeah.
can
I mean,
spoil?
sure. Well, yeah. I mean, most recent releases were like, this band Brockhampton. I did like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
production on that album that just came
Those
out.
guys are real drug addicts, huh?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not, that's not been my experience with them, but maybe you're aware of something I wasn't.
No, I'm just kidding. I was making a joke, but they talk about a lot of drugs. They do a lot of drugs. It looks like.
I mean, I think they do about the normal amount of drugs for the industry I'm in, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think everybody does a lot of drugs.
It must be a
They don't
wild
strike
life.
me as like particularly like I feel like Lil Peep was probably a lot more
Oh
on
well,
drugs
yeah, he
than
was doing heroin. That's a
yeah,
different
yeah,
ball game. But
yeah.
there's a lot of musicians doing heroin. I feel like the industry's moved though in a better direction. I feel like there's a lot of people like that just don't like fucking like their whole thing isn't about like doing drugs. Like there's no like Kurt Cobains anymore. Like Lil Peep's like the last of that.
Yeah, I mean that's only a couple years ago though, and I think there are like that sort of the trap inspired music. I think there are a lot of people, and I think
Oh
the
yeah,
issue there is not like
a lot of lean drinkers actually. Now that I
a
think
lot
about
of
it.
that, like Xannies and shit. I mean, I don't think it like I'm not blaming them. I mean, drug addiction is like really
Oh
difficult, and I
no,
think like
dude,
if
I've been there,
anything,
done
it's
that.
like the labels I think and the managers sometimes are like a little too willing to like keep these artists
Going,
living
yeah.
this. Yeah, even if they're like being really self-destructive because like they're making tons of money for everybody. It's just like, well, it's not stop now, and like it's like, nah,
Yeah.
actually this artist like needs serious help, and that's why some of these kids keep dying, to be
Yeah,
honest.
they treat you like a sponge, and once it's
Yeah,
dried up, they're
I mean
throwing you
that's
in the
that's just
trash.
entertainment in general, but music for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, that's every entertainment business.
yeah.
Like I hate to say it, but like you never really hear too many like great stories of like success. Like my freaking uncle, he's a stand-up. He was a stand-up comedian big back
Uh,
in like the 80s, like in
so
LA and shit. Like he had his own like deal with like a major soda that was trying to become like the competitor of Pepsi. They're called Zenith Cola, I believe it was called, and completely tanked. And now he's a Robin Williams impersonator and like travels around like the country. He's on tour doing it, but
uh,
it's a tough life. This guy,
yeah,
that's like why like you can either you hear a lot of like stories like there's like the main 2% in Hollywood and everything, especially like music, comedy, everything. Like you got your Cardi B's, and then you got a guy who's like Mir Fontaine, I'd say. Do you know who that is?
yeah, I think
He
so.
came on my podcast. He was like the first big guest I ever had, but he lives in Camden, New Jersey, and
Yeah,
I went there to interview him, and I was just so scared because it was a complete hood, and we were in like a and it was just like I was nervous as hell. I don't know how to describe it, but I was
yeah, I
just
got you. Yeah,
and it just was a dry interview. I had nothing to say. I was freaking out. But he's one of the most like under recognized artists in the fucking game right now. He
there's a lot of
literally
that.
what?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people that like need more
Same with you. Like, but I feel like
movement
you're
though.
in a
Yeah,
good position right now to like come up. I feel
I
like
think
I'm
so.
just recognizing you and
Laid the
like
groundwork.
yeah.
It's way slower than you think, though. I mean, I've been at it like 6 years now, and it's still just like
Oh,
it's like
it's
I feel like
all
I'm at
like
the very beginning. But yeah,
yeah, but that's the thing. You probably feel like you're at the beginning because you got this song. Like, how many other? Well, you actually do have a lot of features. I want to ask you about that. Who do you have? Not Kid Leroy. You have a song
Lil
with
Keed maybe,
yeah,
or
Lil Keed, and who else was on that song?
that one had oh yeah, Code of the Friend,
Yeah,
and then there's one with Young Nudie and with this dude Key. I have a bunch of shit coming.
yeah, really.
With some of the big artists. The album will only the only features on the album are people that I've like worked with extensively. It's
Oh,
like
really?
some of these other ones. It was like let's send it to them, see if they're down. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
the album. It's literally only people that I like that personally fuck with me. And like there's a couple big artists on there, but it's you know it's including Stiz. So I mean I'm
Oh,
excited for that.
wait, well, this song or is there another song?
This Stiz one's the only one that's out so far from the album. I have one with this guy Ant Clemens, who's sort of a new Kanye protege.
Oh, really?
That's going to be on there, and then I have a couple others that I don't want to say yet until they're 100% locked in. But yeah, I think it'll be cool. It'll be like a it'll feel good because I think it'll be all people that I really
If
fuck
you're
with. And
looking for any
music video
feature,
and everything.
if you're looking for any feature acts, I used to rap back in like seventh grade, I think it was.
Nice.
I have like 8 songs. They None of
I'm
them
nice
did.
with it.
You want to hear one? Want to hear one right now? I tried to make
Sure.
fuck. Do you know what rap chat is?
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
All right, so this song is a
Oh,
joke.
it's like the app, right?
Yeah, this is supposed to be the theme song to my podcast. But you gotta hear it out. It's a joke.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. This is Leisure Hour Radio. Let's go. I'm coming to your motherfucking stereo with another guest. Gonna get your heart. Gonna make a hit. Gonna get your mama with a fucking white blouse. Gonna get her in a fucking satin blouse. Get her to my house. Maybe put her in my house. Fuck her on my couch. Yeah, I'm talking about your mama. Yeah. Spark a blunt up, let's get to the drama. I ain't talking about that foo shit. I'm talking about shit. I'll pull a gun, maybe make you run back like a fucking llama. I ain't Napoleon Dynamite, but if you get into me, we will gonna get down, maybe gonna fight. Yeah.
Best part.
You wanna be my wife? Why? Yeah, I was just trying to hit you for one night. Yeah, maybe get a fucking bitch, maybe get a fucking plan, but I get it better. You ain't got that shit. Side. You ain't about that fucking real. Lip. Put that fucking bag, yeah, that shit.
Banger.
There it is, man. Yeah, keep at it. You'll be big one day.
You think? You think there's some potential there?
You never know.
No,
I can't
I
really
think.
hear what this song actually sounds like, but I like your relaxed flow.
Yeah, well, I made that like in a car just driving home one night when I was fucking around with my buddy.
I
And
love that. I mean that's entire fucking like comedy, legends. They just do that type of shit.
Well, no, it's just white guy shit. If you're a
That's true.
white kid and you're with your buddies, especially if you're doing comedy, you're coming back, you guys are all riffing, and you think like, hey, we can make a song. You look at each other,
Yeah.
but then you look at each other the next day and you realize it was a complete joke.
I think if you just do that 100 more times, then it starts to get serious.
You think, yeah, no,
That's
well,
pretty much it. I mean,
well,
lots of
how
stuff
did
is just
you
like,
get like really into comedy and like I know, sorry, barely into music and then like pursue? I'm used to talking to comedians all day.
oh, you're good. Well, I mean, I guess I like didn't like in terms of the very beginning with the classical shit. I think I just didn't really have like we didn't have like video games in my house.
Oh,
We didn't
really?
have cable.
No cable? Did you have
Yeah.
TV?
Yeah, we
No
had a TV.
iPhone?
I watched like The Simpsons. That you can watch that without
Yeah.
cable. There's
Was that your
something
favorite show?
Yeah.
Dope.
I mean, it's it's the best show of all time.
You think?
I mean, it's
I
like
think you're
the
wrong.
probably one of the, in terms of comedy. I mean, it's got to be like
In terms
certainly
of
most
comedy,
influential. At least.
Simpsons? No, I think I am not Family Guy. South Park. South
Yeah,
Park,
South Park. I really like South Park too.
they hit the nail on the head.
But South Park wouldn't even exist without The Simpsons. I think like The Simpsons just invented the idea. Like, by the way, I will say everything after like 2002 on The Simpsons is unwatchable trash. But like 89 to 2002, if you go back and watch those, that is just like the fucking like every comedy trope ever, and the
Has
idea of like
copied that
animated
shit.
comedy comes from that. Like they reinvented the whole fucking thing. I think.
Yeah, I could see that because everyone says that, and it's just been on for how long? It's like 38 seasons,
Yeah, it
right?
sucks now. I mean, that's honestly like the reason it's still on is because of how big it was in the 90s. Like, and it's the longest running show ever, I think.
Yeah,
But
it
or
is.
prime time, I guess. But yeah, no, it's been terrible for the past 19 years. But but it still is on, and that's because of how good it was in the 90s that people are just like, yeah, whatever, sure.
Yeah, it did leave like a massive cultural impact because I think they went through a huge thing of like just like so many people like took over like the Simpsons brand. Like you can buy a Simpsons shirt like anywhere. Like there was so much merchandise flying around. It's like a cultural like moment in like America. But like, but
I love South Park though.
yeah, I have a what's your favorite South Park episode?
I like what is it, Imagination Land, where there's like those 3 episodes in a row and it's just all
Yeah,
tied
that
together and
shit's
shit.
fucked up. I like how they always make fun of Al Gore for Man Bear Pig.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
That shit's hilarious. But here I got a few more fan questions. I think one of them was actually like, where do you like performing around? But have you done like where have you done shows?
I
Have you
really
done
haven't
anything?
done that much. I've done like a couple of showcases in LA and New York when I was living in New York, but I really haven't like my artist stuff has really only started popping in a real way in the past year, and so it just hasn't been able to do shows yet. But I've been, as I said, like I've been doing these big producing stuff for these big artists for maybe 3 years now, 4 years, and it's just kind of like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to just go on tour. So I fucking can't wait. I mean, hopefully Boston, New York, LA, San Francisco, like
no,
South by Southwest, all that shit.
even just some small town in the middle of Missouri, dude, you go anywhere if you can get it, because if you have a booking agent, that's what they do. They'll send you literally to East Bumfuck. But
they're good though. I mean, the guys I have do like some of my favorite artists, so I'm really excited.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's the same like firm that does like Post Malone and all these huge stars, but it's got like some of these sort of mid-level artists like St. John that's like blowing up now. Like is someone that I just really aspire to, and he like I think we have the same agent, and like there's a bunch of people like that. So I feel like some of those guys maybe.
So like when you first decided to like really fucking throw your life into this, like you said you've been doing it for about 6 years now.
Yeah.
Like what was like a moment that like I said, like I'll get like if I do bad like one night and I get like just like if I fucking if I bust and I do complete shit, I just eat it. And like some nights I want to quit, but like then there'll be nights where like I have like a moment of I'm just like enlightened. I'm like I can do this. Like I feel like at back of the top, like I was at one point before then. Like have you been like having any moments of like inspiration? Is what I'm trying to like get at. Like you've done something and you felt like so accomplished. Like you're like you get revitalized, like believe in yourself more.
Yeah. I mean, meeting Kanye was like that, I think, and working with him. But I think like right now there's an artist named 070 Shake who you might be familiar with. She's also like on a bunch of Kanye and Kid Cudi songs. And I've been a fan of her for a long time. And I worked on her last album, but it was like very brief and I didn't really get to work with her that much.
Yeah.
And now I've just been working with her like every night and a small group of people for the past like month or two. And I just like, she's making the type of shit that I really like.
Yeah.
Has that kind of Kanye production, but she's like a singer like I am. So I really relate to what she's on. And yeah, I mean, that just is like, it like, I definitely find that when I work with artists like that, and then I go back and listen to my own stuff, I like hear things I want to change because I'm like sort of some of her taste is bleeding off onto my taste. And I'm kind of
Yeah.
like getting to understand like, oh no, that's too much of that, or that's too poppy, like make it weirder, make it darker, whatever,
So you've
yeah.
been in the studio every night, just working with like the same crew, or like not even in the studio, like just getting together and
Yeah,
like
yeah. There's a studio in her like that. She has a house right now in LA. I mean, it's just like a lot of times people will just like rent a house for 6 months or a year and just like
yeah,
set up shop,
Airbnb.
make an
That's the way
album,
to
and then
go.
leave. Yeah. So I don't think she has a lease, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe not like maybe 5 nights a week, 4 nights a week, for the past month or two on that, and then still doing sessions in the daytime, finishing my shit. I'm just like my album's been done for a while, but I'm basically just like I'm like tracking down a couple of these features that I really think are going to help it just reach a
Yeah.
bigger audience, and then I just people that I fuck with, and then I got to do the videos. So that's planning some shit, and but
Do you
yeah,
lo-
I think working with other artists that I really look up to is like probably the most inspiring thing.
Yeah, I could see that. Like I've met a couple comedians that should like, but that kind of it's different though when you can't produce like them. Like when you go see like Joe Rogan perform when he comes to Boston, like you're just like fuck, like I'll probably never be able to do that. Like, but
I
then
mean, he's really like he's taking an interesting path. I think like
are
that
you a fan of
UFC
him?
shit, and like I'm a fan of his just the fact that he does all these different things, and I think that
He's the
like
white Snoop Dogg. I refer to him as.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like the fact that he has the podcast and the UFC thing and stand up is like I think I really relate to just that like kind of range of shit, and like as someone that like produces for other artists and has my classical shit, but also I'm a singer and an artist that's going to go on tour on my own shit pretty soon, and then
yeah,
like I'm also like doing some weird like I wrote like a musical and I'm turning that into a movie, and it's like that's about a bunch of kids in Boston Harbor on on one of those like
you're
old
making a
Navy
movie.
ships.
I was gonna ask you if you need an actor, you need a big guy
Hell yeah.
or someone in there. I'm down, but I'm writing a
Hopefully.
movie also. I wanted to pitch it to you eventually, but I'm gonna need you. I would want you to run the music for it.
Oh, sick. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get it.
It's called Leisure Hour Radio and the Quest for the Most Politically Correct Guest. It's about me getting canceled. It's about cancel culture. And it's
Nice.
me being caught up in like 4 different scenarios in like 10-second out of context clips of me looking like racist or something. But it's actually just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be goofy. I've only
Wow.
written like half of it.
Have you ever seen Private Parts by Howard Stern?
No. Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I think I have.
It's
It's
like a
like from it's
90s
like
movie just
late
about
90s.
it's just like it's not really a documentary, but it's like a biopic almost, but it's like funny about his rise. And I think that like his story is also pretty interesting. Just like he really challenged a lot of shit with what
I
he
know.
did. And
Well, Howard Stern, he's he's probably one of the biggest guys that does anything like this. Like I don't want to be like a radio personality. I do the podcast just because it's fun. I get to meet new people and it's just cool. And it's like how you raise an audience. Like you could consider doing a podcast. You're pretty good at it.
I actually kind of been thinking about it, but I want to wait a little longer and do it in a way that I can get like I just want to have like a bunch of big guests lined up. And what my
Yeah,
original plan was
that'd be
like
sick.
to do like a YouTube series where I would just like make drinks for people and
I
drink them
saw
out
your
of solo cups.
cocktail. I saw your cocktail show. Why you want to be a barista? Or you want to I don't know. I don't think anything. I had a food show. I think anything involving food just doesn't help you in any way.
I mean, you could say that, but like Action Bronson is like, you know, an incredible rapper who has like an entire career just as a food. I think you can kind of do whatever you want if you're passionate about it and if there's a big enough audience for it. I
Yeah.
love the cocktail shit. That's just like an actual thing that I like. So I thought
Oh,
it'd be
really?
funny to talk about it and like do videos about it because it's just like so fucking absurd. But it also like I know people didn't seem to really connect with those videos as much because I think it just is just like too
It's
fucking
tough.
obscure. So.
It's tough to get people to watch that stuff. That people
Yeah.
like stuff like Action Bronson, like you said, like he's just a hit. He's a smash. Like his show, what is it on? Is it on True TV or I think
I
it
forget.
might be on YouTube now. I'm not sure. But yeah, he's
Yeah.
massive. He went on Rogan actually the other day. Did you do you
No,
check
I haven't
out
seen it
any
yet.
like podcasts of like Rogan, like whenever he has like
Yeah,
a
I've
big one?
watched a few of them over the years. I think I watched the Travis Barker one because I just know Travis Barker. And I was
Yeah,
just like, I should watch
that's
that.
sick.
But
Have you met Travis?
I've worked with him a bunch. Yeah,
Are you serious? Oh shit.
yeah. I worked on that MGK album that just came out with him. I worked on like a Vic Mensa album with him. And I've
Shit.
worked on some unreal. I worked with like him and Trippie Redd one time. I don't know if any of that stuff will get used, but
That's sick.
yeah,
So
he's intense.
so
He's like co-owner of a bunch of like vegan restaurants in LA that are there. I'm not like a big vegan food person, but these
yeah, you
places are
can't
incredible.
be. You don't seem like it's tough to be a vegan out of Boston. Most vegans fly into Boston. You know what I mean? They come
Yeah,
here. They're mostly at the colleges, the universities. You're not seeing too many.
right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, no, definitely.
So yeah, so that's fucking unreal. Trippie Redd's one of my favorite rappers too. Like
Yeah, he's amazing.
yeah. Uh, like any other like so
He rolled up with like 9 people. Like everyone comes with some kind of crew. Well, some people don't, but usually it's like 3 people or one person. But I think he was one of 11 total people that actually.
But that's the difference when you have money. Like you do roll around with a big ass crew. And
well, I think people just are down to be around that shit as long as you're like
yeah,
buying them dinner and shit.
I know
I probably do that. I feel like that'd be
I
fun.
would love doing that. That you'd feel like the man. But then if you go broke, you'd feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah,
You got to
gotta
manage
be
your money
careful.
well. Have you gotten a big check from a record label when you signed a
Yeah, I
deal for
mean,
an album?
anytime you sign a deal, I mean, it's not like it's not like I didn't get like millions of dollars, but it's definitely like it's definitely like the most money I've ever seen at one time.
Yeah,
Easily,
yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
buy anything sick?
the first thing I did was I went to a theme park. I just rolled up by myself and just like got all the passes, the most expensive shit where I could skip all the lines and did that. But I think honestly I ended
you
up
splurged. You got the easy pass, or what's it called? The
I
speedy
think
pass. You splurged,
fast
bro.
lane or whatever it's called. Yeah. I mean I didn't like buy a ton of shit. I mean I bought like a few things for my music, and I probably have spent a lot more on clothes since then just because I think like it's important in my like photo shoots and shit, and just I don't look like fucking insane, so I try to spend it on that. But for the most part, like that money just goes back into like there's always stuff that you need to spend on for the music, and it's just like even though the label's paying for shit, there's some stuff you want to do that they don't want to pay for.
Well, I've heard sometimes people will make a music video and then the label will give them a bill at the end of
it. They give weird. Real what? I mean, I guess
like,
it's like if anything, it's like you make a video and then you give them the bill. But I guess like in theory they pay for it. But what happens is basically what happens is with a label is like that all the money you spend of theirs you technically need to pay back unless they drop you or you leave. Like I'm leaving and I don't need to pay back the shit. I mean, the
dope.
projects that they will always own these 2 EPs I did under them and the 3 songs that I put out last summer. And that stuff will continue earning back the money they spent on it forever.
Do you still get paid, or do you lose your rights to that when you drop a deal with them?
I'll make money off of those songs too, I think, and like it'll be a bigger percentage once I pay back all the money that they spent on it, like the videos and marketing and shit. But then there's other money they spent that like I don't have to I don't have to pay it back out of my pocket. It just gets paid back out of the earnings of the song. So it's like you know what I mean. So it's just like a bank or some shit. So as long as you're earning money other ways too. And that's why I'm not that worried about the like owning your master's shit, because it's like I get the idea of it. Like obviously it's nice to just like be like it can be insanely profitable if you do it and you blow up that way. But I would rather just use anybody's help I can to make my shit as big as possible. Because once you're that big, you can make money a billion ways. You can just fucking open a restaurant. You can like fucking
You can
like put your
spit in
name on
someone's
a
mouth for $50 once you're that big.
exactly. So it's just like I think it's anything, yeah, and that's really that's the goal. So I think anything is just like will get you there is like more important in the short term. And it's like as long as you're
Yeah.
not signing some deal that's like completely fucked, obviously, like you want to be reasonable,
Yeah.
but like I'm okay with like, yeah, sure, take a percentage of my shit. Like just let's make this happen. And then
Yeah, and they help you meet other people, hook you up with better producers, right? Like
yeah,
doesn't
and
that
if I get really huge and then I'm done with my term, maybe I don't sign again. At that point, then I believe that I can make an album that'll do even better than whatever these albums are anyway. So it's like I believe I'm gonna keep getting better, you know, and then I can get out of the deal and then I'll own those albums, you know. It's like
can you make a song for or not like a song, but like you see like my attempt to make like a theme song for this?
yeah,
Could you help me make one?
sure.
You think? Do I have to
Sure.
pay you?
It's fine. We'll figure it out. You don't need to
Yeah.
pay me.
I'll send you a couple t-shirts. I got some pretty dope merch actually.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll plug that actually now right now. If you want to support the brand, there's 2 links going to be below this video. Hopefully, if you like Instacart, you want to get your food delivered quickly, I don't give a fuck. Just use my promo code. It'll be cheap. And I forget what the other one is. That's my ad reads. I don't even know my ads because I do it through a website that like hosts my podcast called like if you do get in a podcast, like you're gonna have to learn like all these like different like forums and like everything, like just like the host websites. And a lot of them are like rip-offs, but the one I use is Buzzsprout. And they like hook you up, like you can make money, like they give you a promo code like that, like even if you're not making like crazy views, but if someone uses it, then I'll get money, they get money off.
Yeah.
It's whatever. That's a good ad read, right? Did I
Yeah.
just sell the product?
Kind of.
You like Instacart? You ever use it?
The way this shit works, I think I'm learning, especially as someone who runs ads for my own shit, is
Yeah.
that basically what has to happen is you have to hear about a thing from like 3 different people before you ever check it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the trick is like be so saturating the market or whatever, or like hitting all the cool people that like that all their friends steal ideas from, you know.
Yeah.
And then so they're all talking about it, and then one other person hears about it from 3 of these people, and they're like, "Shit, I really need to do this, I guess." And you know, so that was 1, and now 2 more people have to talk about this before I'm ever gonna remember this happened. But yeah, and then I'll probably get into it.
Are you high right now? Because I definitely am, but I didn't understand what you were just saying.
Like the way like ads work and shit. It's like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you hear about something once and you're kind of
you
like
don't
cool.
buy it,
Then you hear
yeah.
about it a second time from a different person or a different place or a different billboard or whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, that's that thing, whatever. And then the third time, it's like, okay, what is that? You know, like that's why it's like it's like the one time, yeah. But that was a good. You got me on the first attempt with selling me that whatever that shit we were just talking about was.
We're talking about Instacart. I've never used it.
Great.
I got hit by an Instacart driver one time, and you know what they told me? So I got the lady's Geico information. She wasn't doing that well. I wasn't doing that well for myself either, but I was my first, like, I got a nicer car. Like, I was always driving shit boxes. Like, everyone's got a shit box to their first car. But I got a new car, get rear-ended on the fucking, on Jamaica Way. You ever driven on the Jamaica Way?
Yeah.
A little risky. It's tight, fucking winds. It gets real dangerous. She hits me. I try to get a couple of bucks from Geico. They tell me to fuck off. I get in contact with Instacart, and yeah, they fucked me over, and I never got my bumper fixed.
Those companies are all fucking evil.
Yeah, that's why I only support QAnon backed businesses.
Yeah, hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that joke killed, huh? Do you know what QAnon is?
Yeah, no, I do. I like spaced out and read a text right as you said it, and then 5 seconds later, I was like, "Oh yeah, QAnon." Yeah,
yeah. Those guys freak me out.
there's always different shit like that. I mean, you know, like Scientology and fucking like I think of it as all very similar. Like this, just the instinct to like,
I think
like cults and like conspiracy theories and shit. I don't know. I'm not with any of it, but I think
you're not interested in them.
In QAnon, no, I don't think.
No, not QAnon.
Today.
No, stay away from QAnon. Stay away.
I live so close to the Scientology. Like they have a ton of shit in LA, but like there's like 3 huge buildings that I'm like a block from.
Have you ever went in and taken the test?
I actually did. Me and a friend was visiting, and I thought it'd be hilarious if we went in there. I have a good story about this. I don't know if it's a good story, but I'll tell you. It's a short story because
I'll let you know if
like,
it's good. I'll let you
who
just
the
go.
fuck are these people? Well, I was like, who the fuck are these people that do Scientology? Like, why would you ever do that? It doesn't really, I don't totally get it. Like, whatever, because it seems like bullshit as soon as you start talking to these people, whatever.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
my friend was visiting LA just after I moved here, and I just wanted to show her like some LA shit. And I was like, oh, it'd be hilarious. We were like walking down Hollywood Boulevard. Like, let's go in the Scientology thing. Isn't this crazy? Only in LA, right? And so we went and we did the test, whatever. Nothing weird happened. But okay, so basically, like the chick that gave us the test in this thing like talked to us for a while, and it turned out that I had gone to college with a former roommate of hers. We found this out very quickly. Okay, so I immediately
That's how they get you.
They
Wait.
So I immediately text this person. I'm like, hey, I just like met your friend, the Scientologist, and this other friend of mine was just like, oh no, she's just a compulsive liar. Okay, there's your first red flag. And I'm like, no, I think she's like a Scientologist because I'm in the Scientology center and she's doing the Scientologist shit right now. And this girl was like, oh my fucking god, that's insane. Let me tell you, this girl these are all women. So I guess whatever. The Scientology girl, my friend says, they used to live together. She's a compulsive liar. Her parents were all the way in on, remember Bernie Madoff and shit?
Oh yeah,
Her parents were all the way in on that fucking scam. Ooh. So much so they were literally on this dude's yacht when the shit crashed with the guy while they lost all their money.
They had their hands tied to it. They
were
weren't
all the way fucking in,
getting ripped off.
Yeah,
they were part of it.
So it's like as soon as that, and I was like, okay, cool. So like that's who gets into Scientology, is like someone whose parents were that, it's like there's all these people who are looking and imagine like that desperation of your parents lose all their money and you're like, fuck, I need some way out of this. Like I need some quick fix. And it's like,
that's how most cults
we'll help you.
That's how most cults get you, man. And here at Leisure Hour Radio, we don't like to consider ourselves a cult, but we technically are. So all the fans, you can send in your money, and you know the deal, guys. I can only be the one that bangs your
cults
wife.
Are like, the thing is, like, cults are like obviously like the extreme version of an instinct that like we all have. Like being patriotic is kind of like buying into a cult. Like being in a fucking political party is a cult. Having a frat is 100% a cult. Like
complete cult.
Being a Red Sox fan is kind of a cult. Like
it is a cult.
Like most people are like not in it so deep into it that it's like an unhealthy thing, because it's like, how do you be an unhealthy Red Sox fan? But probably some people are. I don't know what that.
No, there are, dude. Some of my friends back home, it gets so annoying with like sports. Like I love my friends from back here, and like, but it gets to a point where it's like, dude, stop slapping me over the head with all these facts from the 2008 Patriots. We're just sitting here. I'm trying to watch this fucking TV show. You came over my house, and then they're like, dude, it just gets annoying sometimes. It's all about sports in Boston.
Totally. No, I know. And I like that about Boston. But yeah, it's just, I think once I kind of like see it that way, it's just like, we're all just like a few insane things in our life happening like away from being a Scientologist or whatever. Or like the QAnon people, like I don't think they're all just fucking idiots. Like I think
they are. No, they are. You ever been?
No, I think there's kind of too many of them for that to be the only explanation. Like I think a lot of people are just really susceptible to like, they don't, like other things are wrong with their life and they need this like community. And so they like sort of,
I hate to be the guy to compare Hitler to Trump, because like obviously like Trump like didn't kill all the Jews. I'm Jewish. Are you Jewish? You got a big nose. Yeah, I'm Jewish too. I am. So I am. But my last name's Linehan. I can hide it. Yeah, my dad's Irish, my mom's Jewish. It was tough for me making friends. I couldn't fit in with the Jewish kids because I was Irish. I couldn't fit in with the Irish kids simply because I couldn't get molested by a Catholic priest.
I had a bar mitzvah too. Yeah, nice.
You like that joke? That's one of my jokes.
That one is good. I've watched the movie Spotlight probably 25 times.
Dude, I love that movie.
I like all the Boston shit. And I like it also because it's like one of the only movies about Boston where the Boston accents are like fairly decent from the non.
Well, why do they gotta throw it on so heavy? Like even Mark Wahlberg will like force it in like his movies.
Yeah.
Because like it's very, very rare you run into a guy with like the actual like accent that they do in movies. Like they go over the top way too much.
Yeah.
Like, do you think I have a Boston accent?
Yeah, but they definitely have it. But it's not as exaggerated. But I feel like there's people from like my town and in Medford and shit where it's just like straight up said car as ka, like just period. Like that.
I was in Medford the other day at the American Legion. I did a show over there. It was an open mic though.
Medford's all right. There's a really crazy thing that happened in Medford. Like I think it's like one of the biggest.
It has
FBI
the most rotaries
mob raids ever. Like there was like a mob initiation meeting happening in a house in Medford, and maybe like probably
got busted.
in the 90s. Yeah. Well, so they had someone with a wire, so the entire thing's recorded, so you can just hear like hours of mobsters with Boston accents in Medford, like in a house that's just like 5 minutes from where I live, just doing like mafia shit. So
Those guys back in the day though, like were you a fan of like Black Mass? Like
yeah, I actually
I wouldn't
still
say
have
I'm a
never seen
fan.
Black Mass, but I just watched this documentary about the Isabella Stewart Gardner
Yeah, on
heist.
Netflix. They did a really good job on
I enjoyed that.
documentary. I love the guy from Hyannis. Was he from Hyannis, the professional art thief? I love that guy.
Yeah, that guy was so he's crazy.
I want
I
to get
could
him on
not
my
believe that guy.
podcast.
That guy's incredible.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him on my podcast, but I bet he'd shoot me. The only way to find him is just to go to his house.
He's probably too old and doesn't care anymore. But yeah, you should honestly just go there with a mic and just be like, yeah, I want.
Yeah,
he'll probably talk. He seems like a guy who likes to talk.
Yeah, he seems like the type of guy that would tell you that he actually robbed the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum a month after the documentary comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a crazy.
I think he did. He has to be connected somehow, or I think those paintings are just sitting somewhere in Boston.
Yeah, it seemed like the way they ended it was that they think they like took him out of Boston. They took him to Maine and then down to Connecticut and then down to Philly, and they think that's where they are now. But no, I don't think anyone's ever going to find him.
Yeah. I don't think they're even worth being found because they took him out of the case. They took him out of the frames wrong. They like cut him out.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to that museum now, I don't think I've been there. I mean,
I've been there a bunch of times,
but they have like the empty frames and shit.
I can go there for free whenever I want. I've been there like hundreds of times because my college. Nice. If you go to a college of the Fenway, that's free. Yeah. The Museum of Fine Arts is free. I'm a huge museum guy.
I went to MFA like probably 10 or 20 times growing up, but I don't know, maybe I went to the Gardner Museum. I can't remember.
It's cool just because like when you go there, they give you like you get an app, they give you a code, and then you just put your headphones in and you walk like the trail that like how the paintings were robbed. Yeah, and then they're like to your left here, this guy was kicked in the teeth.
Honestly, they probably make more money off of the fact that there was a robbery.
It is, yeah.
They probably made it all back at this point.
It's the biggest art heist.
Well, maybe not actually, because it was like I guess the value of the paintings it's like
it's only gone up
$1 million or some shit at this point. So they probably haven't made that much money in guided tours, but
yeah,
that'll take a while.
Yeah, I don't think the guided tour business is doing too well right now. But
probably not.
Am I holding you here too late? You gotta get out of here.
We can do another 5 minutes if you want. You got any final?
Yeah, I got a couple of rapid fire questions. So, wow, we're fellow Jews. I knew it. We'll have to grab a bagel together sometime next time we get back in Boston. But here's a couple quick questions. Your favorite, like, who did you look up to? Well, obviously you were in the more classical as a kid, but who was the guy you looked up to like when you were very little, like as a kid, like you?
So that's definitely John Williams. So John Williams, for people who don't know, wrote the score to like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, E.T., whatever, and he was the conductor of the Boston Pop, so he would just do those fucking scores. You could just go see those things live with orchestra, and like before I wanted to be Kanye or whatever it is I'm trying to do now, like that. He was really the guy that was just like, one day I'm gonna do, and I got pretty close in the sense that, like, I did get to because they do their 4th of July concert on the Esplanade at the Hat Shell, and like I did get to have my music played in the Hat Shell, not on the 4th of July concert, but that summer by a different orchestra, and it's just like I got to stand up on stage and take a bow in front of like 3,000 people, and it was fucking sick.
That's insane. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Did you ever get to meet what?
I did meet him. I got his autograph.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, very brief. And he was okay. Actually, like randomly, his like grandson is out here and is like a pretty big producer. So I met up with him a few weeks ago, not knowing that, and we started talking about it, and gradually I figured it out. Like,
that's sick. Another question: Who are you trying? Who's like in your head? Who's the perfect person for you to make your next like collaboration with for a song?
I mean, yeah, I want to get Shake on a song. That girl I talked about earlier, 070 Shake. I'm trying. We'll see.
You guys will. If you're working together every day, I'm sure eventually you're going to have something.
Definitely, yeah, for sure. So I just got to find the right thing and ask her when the time's right. But yeah, that's one I'd be excited about. I mean, The Weeknd would be that'd be a dream.
I feel like you and The Weeknd would be good. I was gonna say you and Post Malone would.
Me and Post, I would love. His voice and his melody.
You and MGK would be sick. You and like you said, if you made some with Trippie Red, I think you'd be sick with Trippie
I would
Red.
really, yeah, I know. I want to do it with my
Yeah, I
family.
wish you would just start name dropping. Like, when I ask that question, you'd be sick with a lot of people. I feel like your vibe with like a. Do you know who Donald Grunge is?
Yeah, actually, in fact, I think I'm supposed to work with him tomorrow. Actually, it's funny you said that.
Dude, tell him to come on. Can you tell him to come on my podcast?
Yeah. I've never met him, but there's this guy Quentin Chandler that used to work with Mac Miller a lot, who is contracting me. This is so funny you brought that up. We've never met, but it's in my calendar.
Dude,
I'm working with him tomorrow.
did you hear his new song?
Yeah, it's
I
great.
thought it was kind of sick. I thought it's
He's awesome.
He doesn't sound like a Boston guy. He sounds like a complete maybe Chicago or like fucking like Georgia. I don't
Like
know. I'm
Atlanta.
blank. Yeah, Atlanta. I'm blanking right now. I smoked
Yeah.
way too much weed earlier. That's why I didn't get back to you. I was just fucking. I was
Oh, no, you're
blazed. I was
good.
writing a bunch of stuff earlier, and I
No,
thought
no
you
problem.
weren't gonna show up. And one final question. What's a good question? You got a question for me?
Yeah, just send me your tight 10 minutes. I want to watch it after this.
All right, where
What's a good question? I see your Harpoon Brewery sign. You like Boston beers? There's a lot of good shit out
I'm
there.
not a dickhead about shit like that. I do like trying our local beer, but I'm not a huge beer guy, I'll be honest with you. I like martinis. I like fucking
Okay,
mixed
so then you
drinks.
should be watching my cocktail videos. That's what I'm on that shit with you.
All
I
right,
drink
well,
martinis all the time.
I know I love fucking. I'm a mixed drink guy, and it gets me into trouble. I'm trying to slow down on my alcohol intake right now because
Yeah, I
it's
was
not.
very hungover yesterday.
Yeah, I saw your tweet. I had to follow you. I was doing a lot of research about you. I do it for all my guests, but
Thanks.
it kind of ruins it. Like if you learn too much about someone and then you're like trying, because at the beginning I was trying to like get a question out and I didn't even know it. Like talking about like your production of Zaytoven. That's what it was called. It was called Yaytoven. You called it?
Yeah. Zaytoven he's a hip hop producer, but
I know.
Beethoven
Yeah.
because Kanye and Beethoven. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very very chill. And did it so like have you ever been like on TV? Like has anyone ever like from Boston like especially like even like news like because I feel like classical stuff is very easy to like be put on like a mainstream like TV like I bet my grandma knows who you are. I'm not even like bullshitting you.
I've had a couple funny instances. So I played piano for Vic Mensa on the Colbert Show a few years ago. So that was probably the
Yeah, like I was gonna say like I'm sure
right.
like people like
But
that would
I have
have
a much funnier story, which is that when I was in college, I was in an a cappella group, like a bunch of men
no
going like
a doo-wop group. Yeah, that's sick.
and sure, yeah. And we were actually like we did a whole world tour, so we were like pretty big in that world. But I was on a TV show called The Sing Off, which was literally just a competition show for a cappella groups. And so that was on NBC. So I was on like a few episodes of that shit. I didn't have any like big solos, but I mean, I was definitely on screen for, a few
How'd it
times.
go? Did you guys get far in the competition?
Yeah, it was like a pretty short, it was basically just 5 2-hour specials. So like we made it like halfway through and like I think we could have gone further. I think we also weirdly I found out later that the contract we had agreed to actually said that we couldn't win because we didn't want the prize, which was like being signed to a record deal that none of us like. It was just a hobby for us, and so the prize was like a contract with Sony or some shit, and like a.
Why wouldn't you want that? That'd be sick, dude.
Because
You'd
we were
be
all
one
like in
of
school, and we all had like actual other shit we wanted to do, and like it's just like
yeah.
the
You didn't
group
want to be the
wasn't.
doo-wop guys. Like
No. Yeah, so that we had to sign a deal apparently that said that we couldn't win. So basically, we made it. I think like 2 or 3 episodes short, or 2 or 3 eliminations short of where we could possibly have ended up had we done better.
but what's the group now that won that tour? One Direction or imagine that like the
The
doo-wop.
biggest one, so the biggest group that came out of this show is called Pentatonics, and they are actually huge in that world, but it's just a cappella. I mean, it's like they're not like on the radio usually. I guess
Yeah,
sometimes they are around like Christmas because they have a lot of Christmas songs, but they're not like One Direction. It's just sort of like
man. If I still worked at a radio station, I could have got you on the radio.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
I got
get there.
fired. That's besides that. Yeah, I worked at a Spanish radio station, and that's like when I had a food show. We'll end it on this. This is a goofy note. And I did a food show. Actually, my friend that I met there, he does all the national anthems for like the Miami Heat games. Like,
Nice.
he's like 24, I think. He went to Berkeley. His dad's like the trainer for Miami Heat, but he makes good music. You might want to check him out, but you might not want to. I don't know. I'm not your boss. I'm not your manager. But so I worked there with him. They would just have me go try all these Spanish restaurants and like Latino, like all different types of cultural food. And like they knew I wasn't into all of it. And like they would make videos of me and just like make fun of me. And they were like, they just used me as like the goofy white guy. But it was fun.
That
And
sounds
then
fun.
yeah, I eventually got fired for drinking on the job, but
That seems like a dumb reason to fire you.
yeah.
You can
You
drink.
should.
I can drink on the job. Why can't you drink on the job?
Well, that's the thing about being
Well, now you can drink on the job because you're a comedian.
but it's if you're drinking on a job, it's not going to turn into a job. It's quickly going to turn into a fucking problem because it's every night. You can't drink every night. I learned that when I was first getting in comedy. But yeah, plug all your socials. We'll talk for one more minute. I can show you my set, but plug your socials. I'll stop recording. I'll show you my comedy.
Cool.
And yeah, plug what do you
Yeah,
got?
so I'm just at Johan Lenox. It's at JohanLenox. I actually picked that. That's not my real name. Lennox is from Lennox, Massachusetts, where I used to do classical music camp, and Johan is from like classical composers and shit.
Here, wait, up, stop. If you want to keep your screen name safe,